older DITA Project. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's a guy with a moped outside and he keeps running around the neighborhood. Not sure what's happening. You can actually feel the cool and coldness of the metal using the
touch technique.
DITA is a Singaporean brand that's been trailblazing the one dynamic driver concept for many years, from their eye-wateringly high-end Perpetua, the Dream XOS, and the Mecha, to the mid-range but no less premium DITA Project M at $300, yet giving you a cool transparent design and glow in the dark ear tips that is so freaking cool. But they're now targeting the $150 tier with the Prelude. With its striking red design, the Prelude is a bit of a statement piece. It's demonstrating to chi-fi brands just how much can be done, even at this price, in both the unboxing, the craftsmanship, and the sound quality. But before we get into that, a like and a sub would be really appreciated. The tuning blueprint of the Prelude is actually similar to that of the higher-end DITA Mecha, but it has a brighter tonal shift. So I will classify this as a bright V-shape, and it trades the quirkiness and the sort of niche ability of the earlier DITA releases in order to exchange that for a more agile, versatile sound profile that works well with most genres, but with a little touch of extra personality. The bass is pretty bumpy and thumpy. It's as powerful as you'd ever want from an energetic V-shape, right? But it doesn't go deep, nor does it like slam super hard. It's a slightly lengthened decay characteristic that sort of melds with the lower mid-range to make for this sort of full, satisfying low-end energy. This bass plays really well with Apache's Feeling Good, and I feel good listening to this song for real. It makes for added impact to the tuba-based beats of the song's main melody, while without overpowering the tone of the tuba itself. You're not just getting the bass, you're getting that little bit of the blariness of the tuba instrument itself. There's also a bit of what I would say is dryness to how the low end sounds. I expected sort of a smoother bass line in like Beat Eater, but it's got this, I'd say a bit of roughness to it. Bass notes have a bit of definition and distinction to them, rather than being just this one note sort of monotonic boom boom pow pow kind of energy, you know? And the driver itself, actually, it can take quite a bit of EQing if you really want even more low-end punch. With previous DITA releases, they usually have this, it's a really odd peanut gain region in the upper mid range, and it kind of slopes very gradually from like 1 to 2 kilohertz. It gave these IEMs like really pulled back vocals. They tend to have like this unnatural tonality in exchange for just excelling on like portraying imaging and working quite well with the more atmospheric environmental music, like say movie or game OSTs, stuff that relies on like instruments and sort of orchestral mixes rather than like the stuff that focuses on the lead singer. Well, for the Prelude, what DITA did was they went with a more conventional peanut rise. You have this peanut gain that goes up and having a peak at about 2.5 kilohertz and at 5 kilohertz. The former to increase the singer presence in the songs, and the other giving the singer extra overtones and crispness. This upper mid-range implementation, it can get a little grainy in rare circumstances, but like 90-95% of the time, it just sounds really lively and energetic, especially in another Feeling Good song. This time it's a rendition by Michael Bublé, and this extended mix of just the two of us. Jazzy songs with like vibrant saxophone performances really come alive on the DITA Prelude. The treble energy on the DITA Prelude is complicated. It's brighter than you expect, but also not as bright as you'd think. I don't know how to say it. The weird resonance really caught me off guard when I first grasped the Prelude. Thanks to some help though by Discord member Duck for showing me how to use a tone sweep generator to check if it's actually like a audible peak or if it's just a resonance peak from the coupler. Join the hideout here if you want to get his help on EQing your IEMs. He does some great magic. I was able to surmise though that the 10 kHz dip is not really a thing. That's just something on the coupler. What is still present will be the 12 kHz spike and definitely a bit more extended treble than you would usually see from a one dynamic driver setup. I was afraid that DITA had like pushed this driver too much, but actually no, it still does have some audible treble detail. This is not the crystalline, effortless highs of say the Moondrop Kato, nor is it really the super sharp high definition treble from the planar bass setups like the EPZ P50. Actually, this dynamic driver bass treble, it's a boost that gives the Prelude a sparkly coloration to its sound. It is best experienced on this remix of Continuum by Lumerion. The twangy synths and the echoey crash cymbals have extra spice and energy to them, thanks to the Prelude's extended treble response. Man, I followed Lumerion for like 8 years now, and you'd think they'd be like a mainstream super popular band by now, even to the level of like Maroon 5 with how good their songs are. But they've kept their indie feel throughout all this time, and I guess all the better for it. Soundstage width on the Prelude is pretty good. Despite the closed metal shell design, it's a little wider than the average. What needs a little improvement, I think, are the imaging capabilities. You can hear consistent and adequate sort of spatial variance between musical elements, but it's definitely taken a step back from the higher end DITAs. What DITA has successfully brought down from their flagships into the Prelude is actually the technical prowess shown in the single dynamic driver. It's still keeping up and at times even surpassing multi-driver setups. The Prelude's macro detail extraction is very good in its price class, even punching up in certain areas, certain songs. It separates vocals, melodies, drums, and the backing elements quite adeptly. Micro details can also be heard, but they are slightly masked by those bigger musical elements, possibly because of the bombastic V-shaped tuning, kind of hiding some of the finer nuances in exchange for that fun aspect. From the marketing, it is said that they use the driver from the Truth flagship IEM, and then they ported it down to the DITA Prelude, and then they upgraded it some more, something like that. But whatever black magic fairy dust DITA is doing, it really is working out quite well. So how does the Prelude compare to, like, say, the EPZ P50 that I recently reviewed? I think on unboxing, both are really good and sometimes even trade blows. The Prelude cable looks better than the P50s, but it lacks those modular plugs. The P50 has a stitched pleather case, but the Prelude gets the nice carabiner on its carrying pouch. I think the more varied ear tips on the Prelude are what tips me over to its side, pun intended. And the dongle certainly ups the ante. Oh yeah, I'm fully in my cringe puns era now, okay? Both IEMs have their own distinct looks, the P50 with that sort of industrial steampunk design. But yeah, I'm definitely biased towards the metal red shell of the Prelude. You can actually feel the cool and coldness of the metal using the
touch technique.
I think I just burped. Sorry. Sound-wise, the P50 and the Prelude have an extended treble range, but it's the other frequency ranges and the implementation that actually makes the difference here. The bass on the P50, it's definitely less powerful, right? It's enough, but the Prelude just gives you a bit more. It's more eager to show itself and overall more fun. Mid-range sees some tonality difference here. The Prelude, it generally focuses on female performances better and gives male singers a lighter touch, whilst the P50, it focuses on adding huskiness to the male vocals. The two IEMs are on the same main road of having the treble extra energy, right? But they kind of branch off into two different paths. The P50's microplanars, they kind of work double time to give sharpness to instruments, at the cost of some organic feel, whilst the Prelude, well, it's more sparkly, but overall a more natural take. If the P50 is a neutral bright IEM, then the Prelude is a red-blooded, bright V-shaped IEM. Let's take a look at the Project M, which I really love for its niche tuning and the distinct looks, to see what the Prelude has inherited from it and what it's doing even better than its predecessor. Well, unboxing wise, both have really nice accessories and the quality component inclusions, but I have to give the edge to the Project M thanks to those glow-in-the-dark ear tips. I mean, you're not gonna beat that. No other IEM gives you glow-in-the-dark ear tips, alright? You just can't top that. But yeah, for the build, both are also using quality ingredients, but I will say, after a year and a half of use, the Project M's resin has yellowed somewhat. So let's hope the Prelude's metal shell will last better in the long run. Sound-wise, I think you see the lower bass on the graphs of the Project M, right? You think it's less impactful, but it's actually the same energy level as the Prelude, though it digs deeper and has a more enveloping feeling, and it works great with the Hollywood OST. That PM1 dynamic driver in the Project M is still quite something, I'm telling you. Whilst the Prelude is more for just general music enjoyment. Mid-range on the Project M is a little warmer, but it's less focused on vocal presence, but more on instrument definition. Treble on both IEMs definitely have a boosted energy, but the Project M, it's really cranked up with that extra balanced armature driver to the point where it can get really splashy and like tiring. Whilst with the Prelude, well, DITA has boosted it, but it's just about right now. It's not going overboard anymore. Whereas with the Project M, if you have like a really bright source or maybe like not the right ear tips, it's gonna get really tiring and sibilant. That one you have to tip roll a lot more to get your perfect sound. Anyways, Technicalities is still a win for the Project M. It's just a little bit cleaner, a little bit better with imaging, but the Prelude, it isn't too far behind in terms of macro detailing. You can see that DITA has taken the lessons from the Project M and applied it to the Prelude to make for just a better IEM overall. From the material change to refining the treble response. If you want a niche IEM with a knack for portraying like environmental or Hollywood OSTs, then yeah, the Project M will still satisfy. But if you're looking for a more conventional, fun signature that can play with a lot of different music, the Prelude is more suited for that, and it's cheaper too. We gotta talk about the look of the Prelude because it looks gorgeous. You've got a metal shell as indicated by the
touch technique,
and with a matte red silver look that very much reminds me of the Silver Centurion Iron Man suit. That means it's sexy. It is based off the same shape of the DITA Project M, but of course this time in metal, and the sort of half in, half out 2-pin on the Project M has now been switched with a much better, just standard flush 2-pin connector, so you can slap on more custom cables should you like. Speaking of the cable, DITA no longer advertises conductors from Cardass Audio, but it seems to be a similar cable to Project M, which is pretty good. Only there's no modular jacks this time, just a 3.5mm with a jack condom. We do still need that protection, don't we? And the 2-pin male connectors have also been tweaked, so it's now just a flat normal 2-pin cable. We actually have something a little different for the Prelude's box. No picture, no standard black print, but it's a white sleeve with a very distinct custom font. It almost looks like a Behance packaging project, and that always brings brownie points with me. Slide the sleeve, open the top, and you first see this small paper. This is a thicker paper with a patterned texture with some concise instructions and a QR code to get the full manual. Here's the Prelude in generous foam inserts and the included anti-dongle. It's a pretty nicely built dongle with matte metal parts. Sounds pretty good. It's still a basic dongle, you know, but it matches the aesthetics of the Prelude. And for first-time buyers, this is always a nice bonus to get you going. Just plug and play. The included case down below is a semi-hard style with a sort of woven material that, well, I don't know what this is called, but it feels good. And a little touch of personality with the included carabiner. It really looks like a piece of EDC kit. Inside, you'll get the little insert containing 2 types of ear tips. With the pre-installed extra medium pair, you get in total 4 pairs of these transparent oval silicone tips that kinda tame the treble a little bit. You can also find it under other brands like the K-Bear KT02. And the other tip type is a more standard shape. It's kind of like Akustune AET07s, but it's like half a size bigger. In my testing, I actually really liked the M-size AET07 lookalikes, so that's what I'll be sticking with. And this is why I say DITA is showing Chi-Fi brands just what can be done even at the lower prices. You get nicely designed boxes, a useful and sensible ear tip collection, a nice carrying case, and it's the little extra things that make the experience better, such as the extra dongle, the carabiner, and the jack condom, of course. All of which, it gives you the feeling that you're taken care of with a DITA product, right? That even the unboxing and the accessories, they all have some thought going into it. Whatever the price, DITA shows that they aren't just cheaping out on the unboxing to hit a price target. They really want you to love the DITA products, and they want you to recognize that it is a DITA product instantly with a strong brand identity. The nice, thoughtful inclusions though, they definitely invoke that bespoke feeling, you know? For a Singapore-based audio brand that is known for making like pricey, exorbitant, multi-kilobuck single dynamic driver IEMs, I did not expect DITA to offer such strong value propositions in their mid-range and entry-level offering, especially with the Prelude. Everything from like the unboxing experience, the premium included accessories such as the dongle, the little touches of personality such as like that little carabiner, it invokes a bespoke experience that is rarely seen from Chi-Fi IEMs. There's also a premium metal build with the striking red theming and an equally ostentatious bright V-shape to match its looks, with a particular knack for jazzy tunes. The Prelude is a showcase of DITA's best strengths: great unboxing, awesome aesthetics, and maximizing performance out of a single dynamic driver that can even go toe-to-toe with multi-driver hybrid setups, all at $150, which is their lowest priced product yet. I think it's safe to say that the DITA Prelude is very much money. Woof. Here's hoping that this IEM is a prelude to even more budget DITA offerings, maybe somewhere in the $50 to $100 region. We'll see. Thank you to DITA for providing a sample of the Prelude for review. That being said, they do not have any creative or editorial control over my content, and all that I've shared in this video are my own honest thoughts.